Her triumphs. I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Joining us now is star sophomore guard for the BYU women's basketball team, Amari Whiting. Thank you so much for being here with me, Amari.
Thank you for having me.
This is going to be awesome. Every summer, BYU holds sports camps for young kids to come and train with and learn from BYU players at the Division I level. How involved were you with those camps this summer?
We were super involved. Ember had us working all the camps and just like in different stations and rotations and whatnot. And then, of course, we had to do a TikTok at the beginning, so super involved.
Oh, Amber meaning your mom, right?
Yeah.
I love that you call her Amber. That's so awesome. So what was your schedule like during every day of those camps?
Mostly in the mornings, we would have lift, and you can get shots up before. And then we would head straight to camp, working till lunch. We had like a 2-hour lunch break, and then I would go get my shots up or, get something to eat, and then go back. And we usually ended at about it depended on the day. The first couple days were about like 8 p.m. And then the last day, I think, was like 6. So.
Jeez. And then you have to train yourself.
Yeah.
During that time as well, right?
Yeah.
That's busy.
Yeah.
At one of those camps you mentioned, you taught them a dance and made a TikTok video that got over 13,000 views. How did that all come about?
I love dancing. I love TikTok. And so all of my teammates were just kind of making one, randomly throughout summer workouts. And I don't know, usually we like to get the girls like warmed up and just kind of like ready out of their shell. We like try and do something fun, like get everyone down on the court and just like, meet someone, have some fun, like laugh. And so I just was like, well, why don't I just teach them a TikTok? Like, it'll be fun. It takes like 10 minutes. And so Amber was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it last year and we did it this year. And so it was really fun.
And they were all about it?
They were all about it. Half of them already knew it.
Oh,
and
my
so
gosh. Yeah, because I was going to ask you
excited.
how long it took for them to learn it. Because you only had 10 minutes to warm up, right?
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. They all of them, I feel like at that age are just very like outgoing and love to dance.
Yeah.
And so it just was fun, especially when you're like with your friends,
Totally.
It's just fun to dance.
So cool. What do you hope those girls took away from camp, both on and off the court?
I just hope they had fun. I mean, I remember going to camps like this when I was younger, and I just was able to meet some girls, and a lot of them are D1 right now, and so we all kind of check in with each other and whatnot, and so just the relationships, and I had a lot of fun, and that's, I think, really where I learned to be like, hey, I want to play college basketball. It was like we were doing like a film station, and they showed like last season's kind of like highlights and just like a little contemplation that they put together. And so I just, once that video was over, I remember texting my dad and being like, hey, I want to play college basketball. So I think cool. It was just like, it's always fun. It's always something that I feel like you should be able to enjoy. So
I know the coaches use these to kind of scout out future prospects, but as a player, where you're like, oh my gosh, that girl has potential, that girl.
Yeah, we get to like make teams and like play like March Madness style and just have like a big tournament. And so all of us like get to like scout and watch, and then we draft girls and stuff like that. So it's super fun. But yeah, all the time you're like, yeah, this girl's going to be good.
That's so cool. Let's talk about social media a little bit. You have almost 24,000 followers on TikTok and 111 on Instagram. What's your favorite part about posting content?
I just like to have fun with it. I think it's cool to just, have fun, make videos, get my friends, family involved. But yeah.
When did you start noticing that you're like, whoa, I'm gaining like a pretty big following?
Well, it was just like one video that blew up. So I just did like this cute little like basketball singing video almost, like just TikTok style, and uploaded it to Instagram Reels. And I think it got like 6.9 million views. And so then I just blew up from that, and people just followed me.
Is it kind of weird to have that many people following your life sometimes?
Yeah, like I have like a lot of like DMs or like people signing up on my stuff, and a lot of it's like girls asking for advice and stuff like that, and so I like genuinely love it. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, like I have to watch what I put out for sure.
I'm sure you do.
Can't embarrass people on their birthdays.
Yeah, they're like, you got 111,000 people watching this. All right, let's rewind to last season. You were coming off an ACL injury. You were just starting your career as a Division I college basketball player. Your mom is now the head coach. You're playing with all new teammates at a new school. That's a lot of stuff to take in one season. How was this off season compared to last?
Last off season, I was not even like cleared to run or cleared to do lots of stuff, and so it took a while just to get there. Like I think it popped up on my like memories is a year ago we were in Italy right now, and I still wasn't cleared to even play basketball, and so I think last off season was just more of like, hey, getting my body back and I just want to get cleared so I can begin my process. This off season, I feel like I've done a lot more of like adding to my bag, actually like being able to work out every day, and just more of the mental stuff. I feel like last year was really hard of just trusting my knee and getting back out on the court. And so this year I've been working with like Craig Manning and just kind of, like knowing and like telling myself that like, hey, like I've done this before. Yeah. I just like it. Yeah, I had a year off, but that's what I'm going to like treat it as just a year off. And so I think that it just has helped me a ton of just being able to be confident in my knee and confident in my body, and that I'm able to play basketball. So
I love that. What have you learned from your first season of playing that you think is going to help you for this upcoming season?
I think last year was just really, I was always uncomfortable all the time. I'm just like, whether it was the pace, whether like it was my fatigue with my knee or whatnot. But I feel like I've learned, especially with the Big 12, because you're going to be playing the best every night, is just how comfortable you can be being uncomfortable and just adapting to it. I feel like towards the end of my season, once I finally understood like, hey, like things are going to go bad, like I can't control all the time, but what I can control is how I react and how I move forward from it. The game was able to just slow down for me, and I was able to just finally like get my rhythm, get my flow, and I feel like I was a better teammate and a better point guard because of it. So I feel like knowing that and like having that under my belt will be good for this next season.
What was it like playing the best of the best your freshman season coming off an ACL injury?
I mean, it definitely was eye-opening of just like, oh, hey.
hey,
I'm back.
You guys are good, and here I am.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, I played on the Adidas circuit, and it's the same situation. Like, everyone's good on that circuit, and everyone's fighting for offers and whatnot. And so, of course, everyone's going to bring it every game. And so I think that's also what helped me is my dad just sat me down. And he's like, we've played girls like this, like, all the time on the Adidas circuit, like, obviously, yeah, this is going to be hand-picked. Like, it's going to be a good team, but, like, your team is too. And so I think it was definitely eye-opening. Like, I got blocked, I think, in, like, one of my second games. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
This is for real.
Yeah.
You mentioned that kind of your mental training has been a little different. You've worked with Craig Manning. How have you approached physical training differently this year?
Just of like getting a lot more reps in. I feel like last year I could only do so much. It was almost like, hey, I can like do catch and shoot reps, and then I would practice and I was like, oh, my knee's done. Like I gotta get recovered and do whatnot or stuff for that. But I think that this like off season I've been working with a trainer named Dejan and Curtis up in Salt Lake, and he does like a lot of quick twitch stuff. Of just like different finishes, pick and roll stuff. I've been working out with JT, and some of the men's basketball players of just, shooting like uncomfortable shots. And so I feel like I've just been able to do a lot more game-like things instead of just sit there, catch and shoot. So
do you see a difference in yourself?
Yeah, I do. I think like even this summer of just practices, I feel like I've been able to like actually like create a move or come off the bounce instead of just kind of, get a team in the offense. And if I'm open, I take it, but I've been able to just be more confident and more aggressive.
You had some good seniors that graduated and moved on, Lauren Gustin being one. Have you felt any added pressure to kind of step up as a leader since those girls have moved on?
I think like for sure, just in a sense of like, I'm the only returner coming back. Just, people have left or gone on missions or whatnot. So, like, I feel like in a sense I do have, like, a role of just, helping those girls of, like, hey, this is what the Big 12's like. But I feel like everyone sees that, we have big holes to fill, and so everyone's kind of stepped up. And I feel like with the squad, we are just all super hungry and we're ready.
Yeah.
And so I think that it won't be a problem, but yeah, I guess in a sense to just, help them out. So
You've been thrown a lot in your short career so far. You posted on Instagram that you were grateful for God's plan and for the people that helped you through your journey. Who were some of those people that have helped you to get to where you are right now?
Just all my, like, trainers and just physical therapists and whatnot that helped me at the beginning of my ACL. I would say obviously my family for sure. It was just a hard time with my mom, being so newly named a head coach, and so she was always gone, and rightfully so, to work with those girls and get her season going. But my dad was there for me every step of the way, and so I think just with him, like, we became closer through that. But yeah, I would say mostly him. When I think about my ACL journey, is just him coming to all my physical therapy treatments and getting in the gym with me and just, trying to help. And throughout my whole season of just being, being the, like, little guy on your shoulder, giving you confidence. And so, yeah, I would say with my dad.
That's really cool. An ACL injury is no joke. What do you remember about the moment that injury happened?
At first when it happened, I like had stole the ball from a girl and went to go lay it up, and I did, like, same foot, same hand finish, and I've done that 1,000 times before, so I didn't really think anything of it, and it's just quicker because I had a defender in front of me. But I kind of got, like, a little bit nudged from behind and landed on the girl's foot in front of me, and I just, like, heard a pop and kind of fell down, and my instinct was to just get back up because I had to get back on defense. So I went to get back up, but then I remember I, like, couldn't feel my knee. Like, it was, like, painful, but I, like, couldn't, like, everything kind of just went, like, numb and tingly. And so I just started screaming because I was so freaked out and just so scared. And my dad came out of the training room because we were playing pickup. It was my official visit, and so he came out of the training room because he had just been watching a little bit, and I remember telling him, like, Dad, I think I'm done, like, I don't know. And so I was really upset, obviously, especially, like, going back into the training room, Jeff being like, hey, like, I think it's broken, or not broken, torn. But I got a blessing right then and there from my dad and from Jeff, and I just remember, like, feeling and, like, hearing a voice that, like, hey, your ACL's torn, like, you're going to be okay, but, like, this is just what it is. So that when I went to the hospital and, like, got it looked at, got MRIs, I didn't have to, like, grieve again, I guess. I just was super frustrated because I felt like I had done almost everything right of, like, moving down here, decommitting, committing to play for my mom.
Right.
And just leaving all my friends behind, especially my senior year. Like, I was super scared to even just start a new, school season. And so I just was really upset and didn't understand why it would happen to me, especially when, like, I feel like I had done, like, sacrificed so much. But obviously, like, along the way, I had learned that, like, hey, like, you can go through hard things, like, things are okay. But just at the time I was really upset.
Oh my gosh. And then you didn't get to play your senior year of high school. But now looking back at that, because you mentioned that you learned you could do hard things. What were some of the other things you feel like that you were able to see and learn during that time?
I just feel like I know that I can endure to the end. Like, obviously, like, with our religion, like, we are taught that a lot, but I guess I didn't truly understand that until that happened, of just, like, hey, like, I went through that whole year of just not knowing who Amari Whiting was without basketball, to come back and be so grateful and just so hungry to even play. And, like, even the season, my freshman season, like, in my eyes, I feel like it wasn't a great season just because I wasn't 100% Amari Whiting and who I think I can be and, like, how I can play. I feel like I just was kind of getting by. But I feel like just the leaps and bounds that I've made this summer and just seeing my progress, I feel like that has just been eye-opening to me of like, hey, okay, yeah, like this is reassuring me that I went through that just so I could be here.
Yeah.
And so I would just say that. And also I think that it taught me a lot to just trust in a higher power for sure. Having faith over fear. I mean, I think that that whole journey was just scary of not knowing like what's going to come of it or how I'm going to come back. But obviously I was blessed with, being able to get through a healthy season. And so it just applies to all aspects of life. I feel like I'm just more fearless and I'm more of like, hey, if something happens, it happens. But I know I can get through it. Like if I can get through that.
So cool.
Yeah.
Basketball is such a huge part of who you are. Then you take that away. Who were you? You know what I mean? Like, who was Amari Whiting during that time without basketball?
Yeah. I just feel like at first I didn't know at all. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. School seemed pointless. Just like being around and not having like a routine, a schedule. I was like, I can't like physically work out yet. Like it just was hard. But I was able to go to a lot of my brother's games and sorry, crying. And just like seeing him play and supporting my mom, I just feel like I was able to just kind of see things from, hey, like this is my family. Like I'm just a lover. Like I like to support and I'll do it in all that I can. I can't tell you how many 5-hour drives me and my dad made to just go watch my brother play. But I just feel like I am good at serving others and I'm good at supporting. And I just feel like I was able to just like show and like see that I have like a big heart, especially girls on the team. Like if they needed anything on the bench, I was right there for them. And I went to all the Timfew practices till I graduated. And then I was at all the BYU practices. And so just being able to like be around and like they made me feel included as well. Just knowing that like, hey, like, yeah, I'm Amari Whiting with basketball, but at the end of the day, I'm a child of God too. And so I can, exercise his work and whatnot. So
you're incredible. That's
Thanks.
so incredible. And now you have basketball back.
Yeah.
As well. On top of all that you discovered. In an interview with your mom, Coach Whiting, she said that basketball is a love language in your family. And it's not hard to tell how much you love the sport. What does that mean to you?
I think it's just something that we all gravitate towards. Like obviously our whole family plays basketball. And so it's just something that like we all have in common. And it's just, I think that like it's something that you definitely can learn life lessons from. And just, it's just how we bond. Like I think we all have this passion and love for it. Even if we were to play a different sport, I think we all are just competitive and like are winners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that like for all of us to have that in common, it just is like, it shows that like we are in it together, I guess, in a sense, training together, watching film together, just talking about different things we can add to your game. Like I know my brother went and watched one of my practices this summer and we come home and we go straight down to our gym downstairs and he's like, all right, when you come off the pick and roll, he's like trying to like help me with stuff. And that's how I know he loves me. It's just because he wants me to be the best I can. And it's never like competition between like, like I did better than you this season, stuff like that. So
helps that probably you're a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Too. Right?
Yeah,
that probably helps a little bit with that aspect.
Yeah, it does.
Your mom coaches here at BYU. Your dad played at Snow College, BYU, and in Italy. Your brother recently transferred from Boise State to UNLV. So basketball just runs in your blood. And I feel like you're one of the it girls of BYU basketball right now. A lot of people know who you are. What is it like having that role and being kind of a face of the franchise in a way?
I wouldn't say all that. I don't know. I think that it's just been fun. Like I feel like BYU is such a inclusive college and everyone is just a part of everyone, supports everyone. So it's fun to like go to classes and people be like, hey, like good job last game, or know how the season's going, ask where we're headed to next. So it's just fun to be able to like get to know like a lot of people that attend our university and just be able to show that, hey, like we care about you guys too. Does that make sense? Like I know you guys they're all always at our games, but just like being able to be like viewed as like a regular student and like sit in their same classes, I think is just fun, just to be like, hey, I'm just the same as you.
Yes, totally. So. You are one of the returning starters. How do you handle the expectations that come with that with this upcoming season?
I wouldn't say there's a ton of expectations. I mean, obviously, like, coach wants us to be better than we were last year, and 100% so do all of us. Everything's up for grabs, though, and she's said that, like, you have to earn everything. And so I think that it's just fun, and, like, she's told us that she wants us to come every day with good energy and effort, and that's what she expects us to do. But I think the expectations coming in for next year is just, it's all determined on how hard we want to work. And so I think that, yes, me being as a returner is just, I'm expected to show these girls, like, hey, like, this is the energy we're going to have, this is the work ethic we're going to have. But honestly, like, I don't think anyone's had to, like, tell any of the girls, like, hey, get up extra shots, hey, we need this amount of makes, hey, we need X, Y, or Z. All of them are just super hungry and super ready to just work. And it's refreshing, and it's something that, like, me as a returner, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not worried. Like, we're going to figure it out one way or another. And I think that coach has been, like, seeing it. And obviously, like, good basketball teams are a player-led team. And so I think that it doesn't need to be one person. I think all of us are just ready to just, take the floor and work hard and do what we need to do.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Amari talks about switching commitments from the Ducks to the Cougars and what to expect from the 2024-25 BYU women's basketball team. This is Her Why.
Hey, Cougar fans, this is Lauren McLean. We have some amazing shows here at BYU Radio, including the Big Stories podcast, where host Cleon Wall shares real-life stories from the Big 12 and beyond. Last season, Cleon brought you stories about TCU point guard Darius Ford, who went from homeless teen to college hoopster. And Kansas play-by-play announcer Brian Haney shared how he found meaning in his life by organizing a basketball tournament to raise money for kids with cancer. This season, the podcast traveled to Tucson, Waco, Houston, and other cities to bring you more amazing and inspiring tales. So check out Big Stories wherever you find podcasts or on the BYU Radio app.
Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean with BYU basketball point guard Amari Whiting. So before coming to BYU, you committed to the University of Oregon. What was it about the Ducks originally that caught your attention?
I just fell in love with Kelly and Eugene and just, who he was and what he was trying to build. I remember going and watched Sabrina play and against Destiny Slocum on the Civil War when they played Oregon State. And just the environment was super sick for me, and just like the basketball atmosphere. Kelly also previously was Mormon, and so me knowing that the Pac-12 plays on Sundays and whatnot, I knew that he would, be able to, like, keep an eye on me, hold me to my standards for sure. And so I just love that aspect about him, and just him and all of his staff were just very inclusive and showed me that I would have a big role, and that's what I wanted. I wanted playing time. I wanted to be able to, go into it and know that I could do what I do best and play basketball. And so I feel like I had a lot of freedom with him, and just like all the girls were very welcoming as well, and I just had a lot of fun with them, so I was ready.
So you were ready to go. You were ready to go to Oregon. You fell in love. You love the coach. Then your mom gets hired as the head coach at BYU. What did you first think when you found out that, because I knew you knew she was applying.
Yeah.
What did you first think when you found out she got the job?
She had called me in math class to tell me about it. So I stepped out and I answered, and I knew she was, like, getting interviewed. So I thought she was going to tell me, like, oh, they let me go. Like, I didn't think they would tell them that soon after the interview. So I stepped out, and I was like, oh, freak, like, I'm going to have to, like, comfort her right now. And she was like, I got the job. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was so excited. And she was like, and I want to offer you a scholarship. And immediately I was like, oh no. Oh no. I was like, I'm at Oregon. Like, I'm already committed. You can't do that. So at first I was like, oh freak. Like, I have a big decision to make and just a lot to think about, because obviously it is my mom. But I was very stubborn too, because I'm just a very loyal person. And so when she did that, I was like, no, like I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to Oregon.
Yeah.
Like Oregon was my dream school all growing up too. So I was like, no, like I want to be at Oregon. And so, yeah, I was mixed emotions, but
Yeah.
ultimately I was happy for her.
So what ultimately changed your mind and had you commit to your mom and to BYU?
I just remember her, like, she had her resume out on the, like, just like a little book that she had given some of the people when she had interviewed, of just like her vision and like coaching and stuff like that. And I was like flipping through it, looking at it, and there was a picture of like her and then a picture of me and her, and she was like coaching me. And I remember looking at it, I was like, oh, I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? Like, that's been my coach forever, and I love playing for her. And she was talking about how, like, she's like, yeah, like Lauren Gustin I got, and like I'm so excited to like work with her and blah blah blah, and just like saying different things and about like how to make her better and what she sees for this team. And I just was like getting a little bit jealous, and I was like, what the heck, like no, that's my coach.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And so I just prayed about it, and I just, you know, with those like feelings that I had, I just was thinking about my situation, and if I knew my mom was going into the Big 12, and I was like, oh, I don't want her to like have to do that alone. You know what I mean? You're playing the best of the best. And I was like, if I sit here and go to Oregon and not try and help my mom in any way I can, like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, that just isn't me as a person. And like, yeah, I was committed to Kelly and I was super loyal to him, but like, that's my blood, that's my family.
Yeah.
And so to me, it just was like a no-brainer once I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I don't want her to face that alone. And like, not to say that she isn't a great coach. Like, she knows all my strengths and weaknesses, and it just would be so easy to just step right in and help her out if I can. So
That is a loyal daughter right there. My goodness. What was Kelly's reaction, the head coach at Oregon, when you told him that you were decommitting?
I mean, he at first, like, I kind of feel like he knew, just because we had conversations, and he's like, well, if like, hey, if you ever feel like it, like, I understand it's your family, like, it's not just like you're decommitting to go play for someone else. He's like, it's your mom. He's like, but at the time I was like, no, coach, like, I'm all in, like, no. And then just like a couple months later passed, and then we were going into the last couple tournaments of the AU season. And I called him, and once I had kind of started feeling these things, and I was like, hey, like, I think that it would be best for me to just go play for my mom. Like, I wish you all the best. And like, I just had the whole staff on there, and so it just was like everyone was like really kind of sad about it, but happy for me.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give him like a little bit of advance, just because if he did have to find another point guard, like, he still had the rest of the summer too. But yeah, it was definitely bittersweet. I saw him at a lot of my AU tournaments after that, and some of the Oregon coaches, and they would say hi and come hug me or whatnot. And so it sucked for sure, but he was very understanding, good dude. So
Now moving forward to where you are now and looking back, how do you feel about your decision after you having 1 year under your belt?
I mean, I'm very grateful. I think that I made the right decision, and it was a perfect storm almost of just how it all played out. Not to say that Oregon is, you know, a bad school or whatnot, but I just feel like we did have a pretty good season, and with, you know, the direction we're heading, I'm really excited for it. And so, yeah, I'm happy.
You mentioned that your mom knows all of your strengths and weaknesses, which was easy for you to just slide right in, right? Because she knows how to help you. So I'm assuming you know all of her strengths and her weaknesses as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't ask you about her weaknesses unless you want to tell. But what are some of your mom's strengths that you love about her as a coach?
I would say she's just honestly really positive. She knows how to get the best out of anyone. Like, for example, Burley, like, we're just a small town. Like, we started school later so people could get up and milk the cows, and had a week off for harvest. Like, it was a small town and not basketball centered for sure. And so when we were able to win our state championship, she genuinely brought the best out of everyone. Like, I think that we had our three state appearances. It was because of her. She just was able to, you know, bring it out of the girls and, you know, get us better. She develops players quickly, and knows like how to put them in successful situations. And so I just love that about her.
What's it like being the coach's daughter? Like, what's that dynamic like with the rest of the girls on the team? And I know you call her Amber or Coach, so kind of tell us about all of that and that dynamic.
I mean, obviously, like, it's hard for sure just because it is your mom, you know, in a sense of like I'm not allowed to call her mom.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I like forget, like in high school I forgot and I had to run the track.
So she told you that, like, you can't call me mom when
yeah.
I play basketball.
Yeah. Like I call her that in high school and I had to run the track the rest of practice. Like it just was, it's something I had to learn. Now, like I haven't slipped up since, but just in a sense, like obviously she's going to be harder on me just because I have to earn it more. And I understand that like 100%. I think that it's like should be that way just because you do have something to prove, and to all these girls you don't want the favoritism. But I think from high school to college it is different just because everyone's good and it's not just, hey, I'm giving Amari the ball, everyone clear out. Yes. And so it definitely was different, and I think my first year was, you know, kind of hard to navigate of just, you know, figuring out like our dynamic and how we can work that season and the future seasons coming up. But we go and get our nails done every 2 weeks. We, you know, have family dinners. And so we're just very good at separating basketball and mom and daughter time. And so that's definitely helped us. But yeah.
How would you describe your first year as a BYU basketball player?
I thought it was fun for sure. And I was super grateful to just be back out there. But I wouldn't say that I was necessarily like fulfilled. Like I didn't feel like I had a great season in what I can do and what I know I can do. Mm-hmm. I think that it was fun to just be able to, you know, have a first year with my mom and just be able to, you know, get back playing basketball and have like that comfort of like, oh, she's what I'm used to. And a lot of girls helped me get through just that first year and taught me a ton. And I was very grateful to just experience it firsthand of like, hey, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did make a ton of freshman mistakes and didn't shoot as well as I had hoped. But it's all part of the process. And
yeah, absolutely.
Enjoying the journey. So, yeah, it was fun, though.
What was it like when you first stepped foot on the Marriott Center floor for the first time?
I mean, I had been to a bunch of games just because BYU recruited my brother and also like recruiting me growing up. But yeah, being out there was definitely different, just the bright lights and everything like that. At first I was like, everything felt foreign and I would just like kind of was like, ooh, let me just breathe this out a little bit. But honestly, like just taking it all in every time we have a game day, it's pretty sick. I love it.
Let's go through a couple of your games. You had a standout performance against Idaho State. You scored 14 points, 12 rebounds, 38 minutes to play. What was working for you that game?
I think I just was honestly trying to do whatever I had to do to win. I think that that was like one of our first games, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know why. We just had been trailing all game. And it was one of those things that was like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Like we should be killing these people.
Right.
Oh, that was our overtime game. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that was a game that it wasn't like we had been playing bad, but Idaho State just showed up to play. And I remember that we, like, even during a timeout, like when we went into overtime, all of us were like let's go. Like we got this. Like we just got to seal the deal. I think like I genuinely was just doing whatever I could to help my team win. So if that meant I needed X amount of boards and X amount of points, and that was that. But yeah, we all were just fighting really hard that game.
Yeah. And then it just got harder and harder from there, right? Yeah. Idaho State on out. You scored 19 points against Utah State. You were named Big 12 Freshman of the Week. You averaged 12 points, 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists in the season. What did that recognition mean to you?
It was cool. It for sure was. I just, like Big 12 had a bunch of really good freshmen. And so for me to be named Freshman of the Week, I was really grateful and just honored because I feel like I did have a pretty good stretch of games. And so I was just grateful. I was excited. I was kind of happy.
What are you going to miss about those veterans that graduated? And tell us a little about some of the things you learned from them.
From SMY, Kaylee Smiler. Always be myself. I think she was just always unapologetically herself. And she's just a fighter. Like every day she showed up just to fight. And I could always count on her. I knew she was going to give it 110%. So I would say that from her. And from Lo was just always fun off the court and just having good laughs. And we'll never forget, like, she loves dark chocolate. So and everywhere we went, she always tried to see like how high the percentage of dark chocolate she could get. But
and Lo was Lauren Gustin, right?
Lauren Gustin, yeah. Just on the court, same thing. She fought hard as well, and always wanted to win. And just was a fun, teammate. Fun to play with those girls and get to learn from them. So,
what can you tell us about some of the newcomers that are coming in this season? Because I think there are quite a few.
Yeah, we have like a whole new team. I feel like.
Yeah.
The freshmen coming in have worked hard, like really hard all summer, and I'm excited. I think that they will contribute a ton for us, and just how tough-nosed they are. They've stepped in and just kind of took it upon themselves to just, get better and prove to us that, like, they want to be here. And so I would say that from the freshmen. All the transfers, I feel like a lot of them are either, coming off of bad seasons, that's why they transferred, or, just was looking for something different. And so they're all just hungry. Like, all of them have been great of bringing in their basketball IQ to us and just, helping us out. And Lee's done a great job of orchestrating our offense to, help. We got a bunch of shooters. And so we're shooting a high clip this year of just 3 balls. And then we have Ari, who's coming off of her injury, and she's been looking great. I'm like, there's like a part of me that's like proud of her because like I've done it too. But she's been doing great and just has stepped in, and it's like hasn't skipped a beat. And so I think all of us are just really excited, and especially the returners, like, it gets us like pumped that like, we have pieces. I know we were down a lot of girls last year, and so we're just pumped.
I'm talking to Amari Whiting, sophomore guard for the BYU women's basketball team. Amari, you're incredible. I'm glad you're healthy. The season's going to start soon, and you guys are going to be incredible. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks also to Annie Robinson and Sydney Simpson for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.